1975. The UK's biggest chart sensation are on the brink of superstardom. 5 lads from Edinburgh, with a look and sound unlike any other, are about to become the biggest thing since the Beatles. This is the tale of the world's first international boy band and how they turned the whole world tartan. Edinburgh, 1966. 2 brothers, Alan and Derek Longmuir, form a band with their schoolmates.
Well, the line-up in the Saxons was myself, my brother.
I was on the drums, my brother was on bass guitar.
And my cousin Neil.
And that really was the birth of the Saxons.
A guy called Nobby Clark, he was in Derek's class at school, and we had a guy called Dave Pettigrew. We used to call Dave the Rave. We were playing Tamla Motown, we were playing Beatles stuff, Rolling Stones stuff, and you had to keep the people happy, you know.
The Saxons were soon filling church halls throughout Edinburgh, playing covers of up-tempo pop.
Hey, I'm sick and tired of everybody just pushing us around.
The Saxons just sounded a bit kind of bland. We kind of wanted an American-sounding name.
And there was a band called Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels. And I saw something, we said something rolling. And actually we got rolling, well, the rollers, great.
So we thought, let's look at the map of America and see if there's any kind of places that will give us some inspiration. So we eventually just shut our eyes and stuck the pin in the map.
We went into Bay City and we thought, well, Bay City Rollers, that's quite a good name. And that's how it happened. Easy as that, you know.
By the end of the 60s, the Rollers were building a loyal following in the Edinburgh area.
I used to remember as a kid coming through Edinburgh, you'd see the initials BCR sprayed on walls in Edinburgh, and I just thought they were a gang. I thought to begin with, BCR was a gang.
We had a big following. We used to get busloads following us up to Aberdeen and places like that.
It was just about being successful. Our aim was to be like the Beatles, basically.
It wasn't long before they found their very own Brian Epstein, local pop promoter and son of a potato salesman, Tam Payton.
I went down to see them and, I really fancy managing them, I think I'd like to get involved, because they're young and they're enthusiastic.
Tam was very controlling, everybody had to do what they were told, basically, and that was it. And he was quite an intimidating character as well, so, you weren't going to go up against him, that's for sure.
Tam gave us work down at the borders, like at Kelso and the Selkirk and Coldstream and all these places.
So we were constantly playing gigs all the time.
By 1971, Tam had also landed the Bay City Rollers a deal with Bell Records.
Keep On Dancing was the one that was going to happen,
By the end of the year, Keep On Dancing had crept up the charts to reach number 9.
Well, it was brilliant. It was unbelievable. We were just young guys. I was a plumber to trade, and my brother was a joiner, Nobby was a joiner, and we used to rehearse down in what we called the tatty shed, potato shed.
But their 2 subsequent singles failed to chart. Despite Tam making changes to the lineup and their look, by the end of 1972, the Rollers are starting to look like a one-hit wonder. In London, Bell Records enlist a new writing and producing team to work with the band.
I can remember meeting the Bay City Rollers, and there was this unshakable belief amongst these kids who were then 18, 19, unshakable belief that it was only a matter of time before they were going to be stars.
Phil Coulter and Bill Martin had written and produced Britain's first Eurovision win in 1967 for Sandy Shaw.
I was always looking for a Scottish band, and I thought they were quite special quite different from any other pop group.
The first hurdle was when we got the Bay City Rollers into the studio and I discovered they could barely tune their guitars. The reality was that in order for me to try and come up with hit records in a concentrated period of time, I figured my only chance of doing this is to use session players to lay the tracks.
And of course, the Rollers didn't want that. They wanted to play on it. I mean, they'd be better blowing their nose because they weren't good musicians.
I couldn't say to Dick Leahy, it's going to take me 6 months to get something out of these guys. I mean, you were getting a shot.
Hiring session musicians to keep studio time to a minimum, Phil and Bill get to work creating a new sound for the Rollers.
It's easy to write a song. Writing a hit song is difficult. Getting people to remember it forever is the hardest thing.
Remember, sha-la-la in brackets.
We weren't trying to do Bohemian Rhapsody and all this. We knew it wasn't right. It was pure, unadulterated pop.
And the process for writing the song was very much built around the sound of the track.
Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. That was it. We were good at doobie-doo-bobs.
But in 1973, with the new sound ready to go, lead singer Nobby Clark quits, forcing Tam to make further changes to the lineup of the band.
One night in 1973, Tam Payton said that they need a singer for their band, Bay City Rollers. I said, why is that? He said, because our other singer's left.
He had seen Les perform with another band. He was quite keen to get him into our band, but Tam would always kind of manipulate things around and change things around.
He said, it's a professional outfit. They've got their own gear, they've got their own PA, they've got their own roadie, they've got loads of gigs. They're offering you £10 a week. How can you say no? So that's what made me decide to go with them.
And he was a great signing. Actually, he transformed the whole situation.
Joining the Longmuir brothers and guitarist Eric Faulkner was another new face, 16-year-old Stuart Wood.
I was gobsmacked. What? Join the Rollers? What were you? Because I'd only been playing guitar a year and a bit, and probably knew about 5-6 chords.
With the classic lineup in place, Les was brought in to learn the songs and re-record the vocals.
They would get me up to their house and play it on the piano, find the right key for me, get me through the songs.
Shang-a-Lang was my favourite.
Just throbbing like that. Very powerful.
You know what I mean, Les? It's like da-dum-ba-da, and lots of hand claps,
We had 2 boards with handles on it, and we used to use it as a clapper. And it made a tremendous noise. No one had it.
Hey, hey, rock to the music. Hey, hey, rock to the music. Rockin' every night of the day. Hey, hey.
My mother, if I swore, she would hit me. We weren't allowed to swear. And I'd go, Shang. And I used to always say Shang-a-Lang. And my mother said, what's that? I said, it's something I just say. It stopped me swearing. And Phil said, we should use that, that's good.
We sang Shang-a-Lang and we ran with the gang, ding-doo-wop-doo-be-doo.
There was lots of gangs in Govan, Glasgow, lots of gangs, razor gangs and what have you. And then Blue Suede Shoes is in there.
I mean, that's pure. That's pure 50s.
It's all mixed in like a pop puree or whatever it is.
I sang Shang-a-Lang when I ran with the gang. They weren't running with their school rugby team, they were running with a gang. And the gang that they were referring to was the gangs of their neighbourhoods, the gangs of industrial working class Scotland, and the gangs of the late 60s, early 70s. It's actually quite a powerful song.
mean, Shang-a-Lang, the Bay City Rollers, should be the national anthem of Scotland. Better than that dirge flower of Scotland, that's a load of rubbish.
Released in 1974, Shang-a-Lang reached number 2 in the charts.
It was phenomenal. It just took off like a rocket.
Determined to capitalise on their chart success, Tam booked the Rollers on a major UK tour.
So we were starting to play in places in England, and the band was building up this big following, more and more and more and more.
It was so exciting to, finally be up on stage. All I had to do was remember a few chords and kind of go for it and do my thing, and that's exactly what happened.
The Rollers' press and publicity was masterminded by Tam from his parents' house in a small town just outside of Edinburgh.
To every Roller fan, this is Mecca. The Preston Pans Council House of Tam Payton's mum and dad is the headquarters of the Bay City Rollers fan club.
Well, when they started first, we didn't think anything about it because we didn't think anything was really going to come of it. And then they started to come in more and more, and I had to just dig in and get into it, and that's how it started. I've just done it ever since.
I liked the Rollers, and I'd been speaking to Mrs. Payton, and she just asked if I'd like to help, so...
Oh, it's pandemonium, but it's lovely pandemonium.
And then Tam decided to do this kind of mailing thing where he would mail all the David Cassidy fans. And the band just kind of grew from there, and that's when it really took off big time.
As the British Isles suffered industrial decline and was rocked by sectarian violence, throughout 1974, the Bay City Rollers got bigger and bigger.
From not having any people screaming at you to having thousands of people screaming at you, it was pretty quick, over the space of 6 months.
I always remember in Liverpool, there was a crowd outside the Empire, and there was mirrors on the wall. We were all changing, we were to get changed, and they must have seen up through the window, and there was the mirrors, and had nothing on, they were screaming, well, they must be waiting to get in or something. They never realised they were watching through the mirror, we were all stripping off.
Noise was colossal, and that's what they created. They were a sensation.
Why do you scream at these concerts?
Well, during the year we see pictures of them and listen to records of them, and everyone's building up inside you. And then when you see them on stage, just scream.
As you can tell, we're working live. I love you too.
By midsummer, even the Osmonds were being drowned out by Roller fans.
And here they are with Summer Love Sensation!
Record executives had believed comfortably for years beforehand that kids buying records were like 16, 17, 18, 19. Then it dawned on them, finally, that the kids buying records were 7, 8, 9 and 10. This was a whole new thing. And that was the gap in the market.
A group that actually says, do you know what? Single should be 2.5 minutes. A single should have a hook and a chorus. You should be able to hum along to it. You should feel that you're tapping your feet. All the things that great pop music from the 60s told us, and the Bay City Rollers delivered great pop songs.
At the end of 1974, their debut album Rollin' was at number 1. But the Rollers were not happy.
There was a growing resentment, I suppose, that they weren't more hands-on. And we began to get a sense of that they wanted to write their own hits. They wanted to play their own tracks.
I think because we were not allowed to be doing some of our own songs and, doing our own, playing on the records and stuff, and it was just, that was really getting a bit too much.
I remember saying, there is no way that the Bay City Rollers can sit in on the mixes. There is no way that they can write their hits. Because why? Simple thing, they're not capable. It's not what they do.
And the Rollers came to me and said, look, we're not going in the studio with these guys again. We want a different producer.
Stung by jibes that they hadn't played on the records, the Rollers were keen to prove themselves in the studio.
I didn't want to stop momentum. I didn't want to have a year in the courts trying to work out who was doing what to who, while we had the opportunity to sell records.
Bill and Phil were paid off, and new producer Phil Wayman was given the job of keeping the hits coming.
My brief was that they've actually got to be playing. So they had to play and they had to sing, and and that was quite a task.
We spent 3 weeks in the studio, 4 weeks in the studio, and that was wonderful, because we were actually doing everything ourselves.
It was Tam who said, what do you think of, Bye Bye Baby? Let me play it for you. Well, I actually knew the song, but getting the Bay City Rollers to duplicate that was not easy. And I said, well, this is going to give us a real problem, because we could spend a month just on the vocals.
If you hate me after a while,
I remember being in the studio, there's sort of 4 of us singing in a circle, getting these harmonies, and the producer saying, move back a bit, you're too loud, and move in a wee bit to get the balance kind of right. And it took us forever to get these harmonies.
I was going for the throat. I was actually going for the record sales. Give the public what they want.
He was a brilliant producer because he saw the vibe and the energy that we could produce. That's what he focused on, and he got that out of us, and it worked.
I think when you're recording it, you kind of get an idea that this one really sounds good. Where the other ones, they might be okay to do, but this sounds like it could be in the charts.
When I mixed that and Give a Little Love back to back, I called the record company and said, not only have I think I've got you a number one, I actually think I've got you a follow-up number one. So I think I've got 2 number ones back to back.
Released in March 1975, the Rollers' cover of Bye Bye Baby went to number 1, where it stayed for 6 long weeks.
And the figures that were coming in, 75,000 a day. Artists don't sell that, in a month. You can have a hit with 20,000 records now, a hit. And we were doing that in a day.
it's a teenage dream.
Just as Phil predicted, the follow-up Give a Little Love also went to the top of the charts.
I was invited to EMI's factory, and they said, do you see this wall of records? Now, this wall of records was probably about 50 metres long and about maybe 4 metres high. And he said, there's 500,000 albums here, and they're all yours, and they will all be shipped by Friday. And my jaw was on the floor, because you think, my word, that's an awful lot of albums to ship.
With half the tracks penned by the band, Once Upon a Star went platinum in the UK. At the start of 1975, the Rollers were the biggest selling act in the British Isles, with a look unlike any other.
Hold it there a minute. Can we redo it again from the top?
Do you love me? Do you love me? Like I love you.
Like I love you.
Or is this goodbye?
The iconic look that I'm wearing at the moment didn't really happen until album number 3, Wouldn't You Like It? A lot of people claim responsibility for this kind of look. It actually was drawn by fans.
There was a girl from Liverpool, she sent a drawing up with a bomber jacket and checks, and Eric just said, that'd be great in tartan.
As fans copied the look of the band with homemade roller gear, throughout the summer of '75, they could also tune into the Rollers' very own weekly TV show.
It was great. We loved doing that. I couldn't believe it. A few years prior to that, we were just hoping to be in the charts. And then now it was a year later. Was it even a year? And we've got our own TV show.
When I joined the band, they were doing the Mecca circuit. It was a lot of clubs like that. That would have been 16, 17, 18-year-olds that were following the band then. And as we became more popular, the age was getting younger and younger.
Rollermania was an official teen sensation.
Do you know that there's only ever been 2 manias ever in the history of the music business? There's Beatlemania and Rollermania. Now that's something.
I can't believe it. We've got a mania. We've got a mania.
I don't think you could comprehend the dress sense of the people under 14 in Birmingham, Grimsby, Aberdeen, Dundee, all walking about like little rollers.
In 1975, the Rollers undertook their biggest UK tour to date.
God, that was a crazy tour. It was absolutely mental.
There was mass hysteria as well, so it was a problem getting in and out of the venues as well.
When you first got started, did you ever think that what is happening outside now would be part of you?
Yeah, we did actually. I think. This is what we wanted.
Really?
This is what we wanted. Yeah.
We would go on and the police would just make us stop it because they just couldn't control the crowd.
As soon as the Bay City Rollers appeared, fans tried to rush the stage. Police women had to be rescued from the crush, and the show was stopped twice so that fans could cool down.
I remember watching out, we were playing on stage and there was a balcony. It was actually going like this, and one girl jumped over the top and had to stop the show.
And people were fainting everywhere. The St John's ambulances were full up.
We used to come off the stage right in the van and away before people had the chance to get out of the concert hall, so otherwise it would just be bedlam.
The streets were covered in kids all fainting and crying.
It became a way of life, the whole thing. That, for me, that was, this is now my life, this is who I am.
Some places we were playing 2 times in one day. At one time in Ireland, 3 times in one day. And from that point on, there was no time off really. We were kind of on the road for 3 years, almost. I think my mum recalled I was home 6 times in that whole period.
The strain of non-stop touring was compounded when Les was involved in a fatal traffic accident.
Well, the news that we promised you about the Bay City Rollers, which has just come in, is that their concert in Colston Hall, Bristol tonight has had to be cancelled. That Les McEwen has been involved in an accident. I understand that the accident took place just outside Edinburgh.
On a rare visit home, Les ran over and killed a 76-year-old woman.
Your nail is down.
Les McCowan has been involved in an accident. The accident... Now, wait a minute. The accident took place in Edinburgh, and Les is uninjured. But he's shaken, and obviously can't take place in tonight's concert.
It was one of the rare occasions a Rollers gig was cancelled.
At the time, I can remember just being in complete shock. And I don't know how long it took me to come out of that shock. In retrospect, I should have dealt with the issue in a much more comprehensive way. I wasn't afforded that privilege.
The day after the accident, Les rejoined the tour.
Whether it was the management that had that attitude, but the show was definitely going on. A couple of nights later, we had to do a gig. So we were doing a gig, and Les had to leave the stage because he was just breaking down.
It's a whole bunch of things. I mean, it's pent up some kind of anger and just lots of emotional stuff that it's, when they're that age, it's difficult to even know what those things are.
By rights, he should never have been up that stage. He should have been kind of somebody should have given a shit, basically.
But the Rollers management were already planning the next stage of the band's career.
You haven't really made it unless you've made it in America. That was really what I wanted to do, was to take the acts that we had in the UK and break them in the States.
Legendary record company exec Clive Davis had just acquired the Rollers for his brand new label, Arista.
I was doing some consulting work for Arista Records. The question I was asked is, do you think there's anything you can do with them here? And my resounding answer was, yeah, yes, for sure.
The people at Arista were our friends. We read the British press. We knew they were happening.
I put together a press junket and invited Danny Fields, who was the editor of 16 magazine.
We invited ourselves. You know, I had the most powerful teenage magazine in America. We said to Arista we should go and see them, fly us over.
And our first stop was Glasgow. It was just crazy, you know, police and girls and, you know, 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds, all dressed up in roller garb with that look in their eye of love, just like young love personified.
Dressed in the jeans and a too tight t-shirt. You better watch out, baby, you might be hurt.
It wasn't a city, it was a martial zone. It was, the streets are cleared for the Bay City Rollers. It was a triumphant return of the conquering hero. It was a movie spectacle, like Ben-Hur, except they were all girls wearing these ugly pants.
They were so young and so fresh-faced. They were just those wonderful Scottish fair complexions with rosy cheeks. They were wild-eyed, and they could sure scream loud.
The performance that I don't remember where I sat, if I sat, it was just about like the being here.
Danny knew right away. I mean, he had been in the business long enough to know that instantly that they fit the profile and that they were going to be big.
They were adorable, and 5 cute guys at once. That's the story of rock and roll.
When you have a band, each kid can pick her favorite, same as they do with One Direction or, NSYNC or the Backstreet Boys. The Bay City Rollers happened to roll along at exactly the right time in terms of 16 land.
In the autumn of 1975, the final touches were being put to the campaign to launch the Rollers in America.
It was a bit scary. The record company boss, Clive Davis, who is probably a recognised genius in picking songs. Of course, we didn't know that at the time, but he had chosen a song called Saturday Night for our first single.
Originally a Bill and Phil production, Saturday Night had failed to chart back in 1973.
I felt it was an odd choice, perhaps, to take a record that had been a failure to be the one that he put his weight behind.
Why don't they release Bye Bye Baby? It's number one,
Clive just said, you have to be joking. He says, that's a classic by the Four Seasons. Not releasing that. And that's how he picked Saturday Night.
The way the music's structured in that song, it's pretty good. Down, 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 down.
It's like cheerleaders going to OHIO, Ohio. The cheerleaders thing. Well, this one went SATURDAY night.
The offbeat kind of guitar riff. It's got the roller kind of drums in it.
It gets faster and faster.
Keep on dancing to the rock and roll on Saturday night.
On September 20th, the Rollers performed at London Weekend Television and were beamed by satellite into the homes of 30 million unsuspecting Americans.
I was at school in Millburn, New Jersey, which is about 20 miles outside New York. I only had a black and white TV, but even so, I could tell that they were such an explosion of youth and joy and exuberance. And the minute their song ended, the phone rang, and it was my friend Pat, and she said to me, "Eric," and I said, "Woody," and I was absolutely amazed. I mean, this must have been what Donny Osmond fans had gone through, but this was happening to me.
Their performance in London ended with a stage invasion that put Woody and Les in hospital.
2 of the Bay City Rollers left hospital today and returned to Glasgow. There have been accusations that this Saturday evening's riot was deliberately put on for the sake of the huge American audience watching the show from the other side of the Atlantic.
We were getting checkups yesterday now. Yeah. There it is. No broken bones.
You feel okay?
Yeah.
Jolly good.
Right, we better get this plane, chaps. See ya. Thank you.
10 days later, the Rollers were on their way to America.
When they came to New York, actually turned up in person, obviously I had to go.
When the Rollers arrived, their new fans were there to meet them.
We had arranged for them to be there by leaking their flight information.
She said, "Oh, it's going to be flight whatever, TWA, September 30th.
I went out there and witnessed this unbelievable happening at, JFK.
This was an era when rock bands didn't smile because it would have meant that they weren't serious. But the Rollers were actually smiling, and you could tell they weren't American. There was something smaller, scrawnier, paler about them. slightly kind of almost unhealthy looking, which I loved.
The crush was crazy, and there were so many roller fans. They pushed me onto one of those carousels, those luggage carousels, and I had to be rescued. I was like with my feet up in the air, going around and on the carousel.
It was like the Beatles all over again. In fact, it might have even been bigger because we walked to our limos and we drove straight out of that airport.
That was brilliant. I remember getting to the big stretch Lincoln, and I was just seeing the tall buildings, you know, and it was unbelievable. I'd never been in, first time in America, you know, it was great. It was unbelievable.
That was great. I mean, that was like a dream come true. I mean, you know, you never had ever been in America to suddenly be driving through New York with these big skyscrapers and stuff. For us, that was just, you know, never imagined in your wildest dreams you'd get to America, obviously.
All I could think about was I want to see the skyscrapers. I want to get a hot dog, and just experience New York.
The biggest event on the promotional schedule? Saturday night's the Howard Cosell Show.
They put us in a big tartan box with a big ribbon on it. And he goes, ladies and gentlemen, it's from Scotland. You know, like Scotland, England, or something like that. The Bay City Rollers. And of course, the ribbon was kind of put the sign of it, S-A-T-U-R. And that was it. Boom.
It was about them. It was about these 5 young boys, different, accessible, fresh, and coming to America.
I know we went to Rockefeller Center. I took pictures of them down in front of the skating rink, and then we went up on top of the RCA building and got the whole panorama of New York City behind them. At the time, I made more money with the Rollers than any other band I worked with. If I would go to a magazine, I would show them pictures that I had taken of all the bands I'd seen recently, and they might take 1 picture of Blondie, maybe 2 or 3 pictures of the Rolling Stones, and 48 pictures of the Bay City Rollers.
The typical 16 reader was the girl who was too old to be sitting on daddy's knee and really too young to be dating the boy next door. So the Rollers, when they came over here, they were not only on the cover, but on the banner, on the top banner. Many, many, many issues.
There was room for a new phenomenon for teens, a group for teens.
During the week that they spent in New York, I spent a lot of time on the phone to Carol Strauss. She was really happy to tell us exactly what they were going to be doing, where to find them.
It was from one event to the next. They would pop out of the cars, or in one case the helicopter, and run into the event because there was a lot of screaming and kids outside, the cops holding them back, and so there was always chaos wherever we went.
I was having a really good look at them up and down, and I suddenly saw that Leslie, as he was called then, wasn't wearing underwear, and I thought, edgy.
Oh yeah, that's common. I mean, we didn't know what underwear was until we were like 16.
But I did get a really good picture of Woody. He was wearing his top trouser button undone, which was a roller thing. It was actually a Tam thing. He insisted that they wear their top buttons undone because it was a little bit provocative. But at the time, I just thought, God, mind blown.
It was amazing. Helicopters and planes and hotels, and looking out the window. And every time you stuck your head out a window, you'd have sort of thousands of people going, "Wah!" and then getting the phone call saying, "Could you stop pull your curtains, please. You know, you'll get thrown out.
Can you imagine if you could do that in real life? I mean, come on, it's like scratching your ear and have people faint because that was the sexiest thing they ever saw.
Nothing could go wrong. It was just, couldn't believe it. And here we are, we've made it in America.
By January 1976, Saturday Night had climbed to the top of the Billboard chart.
Saturday Night went to #1 in America and sold 12 million records.
We were thrilled. We were over the moon. It was mission accomplished.
The Rollers had even reached the depths of New York's underground punk scene.
The Bay City Rollers were probably the least cool band in the world at the time, and when Saturday Night became a hit in America. Therefore, they would be right high up on the list of the band the Ramones would think was very, very cool.
I loved them. They had a #1 hit. Why the f can't we get a #1 hit? What's their secret? What are they doing? Come on, you know them. What do they do? How'd they get #1?
There were two things that were very influential. One was this idea of 3-minute pop and quick, and everybody having a kind of a uniform look, and their fans copying what the band looked like. Then the other aspect of it was the football chant at the beginning of Saturday Night. I don't see how anybody's ever missed this. The opening of Saturday Night is virtually the same as Blitzkrieg Bop. Blitzkrieg Bop is, if not note for note and word for, it's not word for word, but in feeling and everything, it's a direct homage.
No one was immune to their charm.
I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. And we were like, my God, this is really taking off now, you know.
I can only refer to it as like a white stallion. And in fact, it's staying on that's the problem.
Oh, you dream of a silver stallion, riding high on the stars above.
The Rollers' desire for more artistic control was about to see off another producer.
We were making a third album, and the boys had written, I don't know, it might have been 4 or 5 songs for the new album. And these songs weren't great.
Eric and Woody, yeah, they were writing a lot of songs around that time as well.
We had the same problem over again. The boys still wanted to write, and Phil Wayman didn't think either that they should be writing their own material.
I mean, I still wonder if any track that we did was going to go to #1 because the band had become more popular than probably the music that we were doing.
And I said, well, you know, this is maybe you're wasting my time.
With the world at their feet, the Rollers escaped the hot summer of '76 to cement their superstardom.
Just remember finishing the acoustic guitar, you know, at the end of the song, ring, that was great, guys, hey, what do? And everyone's going, shut up, shut up. You know, you're meant to ring, just let it, you know, quiet, then speak. So I had to do that track again.
Rallying crowds of tartan teenagers in the United States, Canada and Japan in 1976, Rollermania took over the world.
Tam was very much responsible for a lot of their day-to-day lives, and that he told them when to get up and when to go to bed, and it was him who decided they were going to be squeaky clean.
In the hotels, we always had to double up in the hotel so nobody would get up to any shenanigans. Well, you weren't allowed to have any girlfriends or anything like that, you know, that was, or any kind of, obvious girlfriends,
Do you have a girlfriend?
No, not at the moment, no.
Woody, do you have a girlfriend?
Not at the moment, still looking.
Are you really looking?
Yeah, because 18,
Would you tell me if you had one?
No.
If the band were seen to have girlfriends, that would turn a lot of the fans off.
I think there's plenty of years ahead of us to get settled down and get married and that.
Apparently, it was also his brilliant idea to put jugs of milk on tables at press conferences and pretended that they only drank milk.
There was no alcohol around. And I remember one time in between something, I had a sip of something, and from 5 feet away, Tam Payton turned around and said, "Who's been drinking?" I was like, oops.
Tam's monastic regime and rigorous touring took the Eric and Woody track Money Honey to number 9 in the US. But back home, the media spotlight was falling on how much money the band were making and how well it was being managed.
It's upon me to see that they do survive. I mean, no use in 10 years' time or 12 years' time or 15 years' time and turn around and say, Tam Payton was our manager. I'm working on a truck now, I'm driving a truck. I haven't got a penny to rub together.
We had been getting it in the ear hole. You guys are all millionaires, you've got nothing to worry about the rest of your life. I've got it all fixed out for you. What he meant was, I've got it all sorted out for me. And you guys are all screwed.
How much did you earn last year?
I don't know, you probably have to ask Tom that one.
We came from a background with very little education. And basically we were pretty dumb, so all we knew was how to play the music and go on the road.
By early 1976, founder member Alan had had enough.
Well, I think I left around about April, May. It was just in your face all the time, and I was getting depressed and things like that, and I just couldn't take it anymore, and I just said, I'm going,
Alan, are you sad at all at leaving the Rollers?
Sometimes, yeah, because I really enjoyed it when I was with the group, but I think it took me a year to make a decision.
Ian, are you looking forward to all the money you're going to make?
Well, I'm not really in it just for the money. I like to travel the world and things like that.
That's going to make life very different for you, isn't it, travelling around the world after Belfast? How does it feel having an Irishman amongst all of you?
It's really great. It's different. Yeah, it's different. No, he's not a bad lad. It's better having all these Scottish guys.
With new boy Ian Mitchell in, the Rollers were back across the pond to promote new album, Rock and Roll Love Letter.
I think when Alan left the band, that was the beginning of the end.
The constant touring and desire to outgrow their team label was taking its toll.
I'd wake up sometimes and not know what country I was in because we're sort of jet setting about the place so often. Theatres are theatres, wherever you're playing, venues are venues. The limos to the hotels, the aeroplanes, it just became a big mush.
The incessant globetrotting left UK fans wondering what had happened to the boys next door.
Don't you think to some extent this is letting down your fans? There have been quite a lot of stories, especially in the pop papers, Tam, haven't there? That, the time is over now.
It's time to go, the Rollers have had it, it's finished and all this kind of thing.
Well, our fans aren't stupid, and I don't think they will believe things that people put in papers. And I hope they never will.
Things were probably starting to fall apart a little bit by then.
Ian Mitchell quit the Rollers after just 6 months. His replacement, Pat McGlynn, lasted even less time. While the band's involvement in an ill-fated American kids' TV show did nothing to reassure British fans, nor heal the growing rifts within the group.
I was feeling restricted. Tam Payton still had an iron grip type control on the other guys, so they were in the camp, let's say, and I was halfway over the fence.
He kind of went off the rails a bit because he was hanging out with all kinds of people to tell him how wonderful he was and how great he was. And unfortunately, he just kind of took that on board, and then he kind of moved far and further away from the rest of the band, thinking, that he was going to be the great big solo star.
Well, I was absolutely loving it, being famous all over the world, and I just wanted to eat it up. I was young and horny and all those sort of things, and I just wanted to get out there and, eat things, everything. I wanted to just be a famous pop star.
Did I show you a song from the heart?
Now, just back from the States, I've got here with me the Tartan Terrors, the BCRs, or the Bay City Rollers.
In August 77, the Rollers unveiled their 6th studio album.
Believe that it's gone. I've no strength to carry on. Thought my world was upside down.
Enlisting David Bowie's producer Harry Maslin, It's a Game revealed a more mature sound. But its eponymous single, peaking at number 16, would give the band their last ever UK Top 20 spot.
You made me believe in magic. You know that I can be truly in love.
By about late 1977, they were declining in popularity quite a bit. I mean, there's obviously a sell-by date for all boy bands, and the Rollers were reaching theirs. They'd had a really good run from 74 to 77. So the fans were growing up, and also the Rollers themselves, they were obviously completely fed up with it.
In 1977, a new teen sensation took over the streets of Britain.
That was the Conservative pound. That's the Labour pound, after 4 years of Labour government.
As the pop world mourned the death of Mark Bolan, the Rollers went back into the studio. But despite Alan returning, the band was in turmoil.
I said, well, look, I want my own security while there because I don't feel safe around you guys. So I get my own security and they've got their own security. I want picked up in my limo, they get picked up in their limo. So it got to one of those really childish, these kind of thing. But I couldn't escape from it.
By the time they arrived to play a concert in Osaka, Japan in 1978, the band were unravelling.
I'd be on stage singing and there would be no spotlight on me. So where do I go for my spotlight? Wherever the spotlights are. And that's where the problem started.
And here's Buggerlugs decides to walk along and stand in front of me.
It wasn't that I stole someone's spotlight. It was more I didn't have a spotlight and I wanted one.
Just stealing the limelight.
Les was actually going up in front, he was actually going up to Woody and pushed him all the time, and Woody was getting annoyed. And I could see it happening, but when you're in front of maybe 20,000 people, you can't do nothing about it,
And Les, great performer, he was up the front of the stage, used to kind of work that stage and kind of get the audience join in and all this. He's at the front of the stage and bundle of people there, and it was those sort of 10-foot high stages. Boot just kicked him right off the stage. I don't know what overcame me, I just couldn't resist it. It was just the way he was bending down, and I thought, right, yeah, boot, and off he went, flying into the audience.
I remember there was a couple of punches thrown as well, and it was a bit it was just a concert, for goodness sake, I was like, what? You can't behave like that on stage, So it was just because the frustrations were getting better of everybody.
As you say, it's like Spinal Tap.
It was comedy, if it wasn't so painful.
But the writing was really on the wall when Les left in the summer of 1978. It was almost like the Ravens leaving the Tower of London, or Robbie leaving Take That.
The classic Bay City Roller lineup was over. With Les gone, the remaining Rollers hired a new singer, and in 1979 fired manager Tam Payton. It would mark the start of a protracted and costly legal battle between themselves and their label, in pursuit of the money they were owed.
And of course Les fell out with everybody, and me fell out with him, and then we fell out with Eric, and everybody would fall out with each other.
Eventually we lost the house and all this kind of stuff. It was terrible, because don't forget, I'd asked my mum and dad to move out of their council house and come and live in this house with me. Don't worry, I'm a millionaire. I'll look after you.
I think we were definitely ripped off, that's for sure, but I think there was a big element of naivety as well. People would come along and tell you, you guys just concentrate on playing, we'll do all the business stuff, and you just accepted that.
Despite estimated global sales of over 300 million records, the Rollers maintain they never saw their share.
I have no qualms about saying about Tom Payton. He was a disgrace. He deserved to die a broken man, because those wee boys should have had everything.
There'd be no point in majoring on the disintegration of the Bay City Rollers. That's painful for everybody. It's painful for me, and it's certainly painful for them.
We're going to do a number called Shang-a-Lang.
The Rollers should be remembered for their glory days.
They were undoubtedly the biggest pop group before One Direction or any of these things came along.
Invention of boy bands became an industry, thanks to the Bay City Rollers, I think.
We will rock it, roll it over and lay it down.
It simply has everything. The deals that go wrong, the ripping off of young, innocent people, and of course at the heart of all of this is just great summer pop music.
The songs were genuinely happy, vibrant, slightly punky songs. When I hear them now, I still smile every time.
The band has actually made a stamp in history, and that's it. I'm quite happy with that.
I think it just happened to fit the music industry at that time.
I think we brought a lot of fun, a lot of great times for many, many people, many thousands of people all over the world.
If I was to close my eyes and just sort of think and meditate, or just be relaxed and just, what does the 70s mean to you, Les? And I would just see a sea of smiling faces singing along with me, and that's all I would see.
Heading out of the city life, a suitcase full of dreams, trying to find some kind of memories that didn't hold a distant scheme. Something she said I can't remember, but I answered her turn all the same. And what I saw in her style, well, I've seen it before, but somehow it looked quite different this time. Goodbye to all the friends I never had. Do you still remember me? Taking care of all your business, you give it all away. And I wonder, with all your broken dreams and promises, if you ever knew me at all. For we are older now, but somehow you